Welcome back to Spirit Sherpa. I'm your host, Kelle Sparta, transformational shaman, spiritual coach, spiritual business coach. And I am here today with Lee Holden. And you guys, if you've been listening for a while, you will remember him because, yes, we did talk to him before, but he's got a new book coming out and he's got a whole bunch of new information. And it's timely for me, therefore, it'll be timely for you. And so we're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we do, I want to remind you that if you are part of the 100,000 people on the planet to up-level it, I am doing free trainings. And that those free trainings are going to teach you how to hold and expand your energy field, how to connect with other people's energy field to hold the energy grid to do that up-leveling. And so how do you know if you're one of those people? If you had your awakening, went, holy crap, I've got this huge mission. It's massive. I'm a little overwhelmed by it and I have no idea what it is or how I'm supposed to do any of it. And I'm late. If you had that experience, then you're one of the 100,000. And so go sign up on the homepage of the website and join the Discord group because that's where the events are all listed. And we're meeting every couple of weeks at different times and days so that everybody can make at least one of them. All of them are recorded. And so if you can't make one, you can always watch the recording later. But yeah, this is how we're going to connect with each other. So please do join that group. And also a reminder to subscribe and share because this is how we get our message out. Please, if you love us, then share us with your friends, with your local practitioner groups, with your local metaphysical stores. Have them help us spread the word too, because this stuff needs to be heard by a lot of people. All right, here we go. We are off and running, and I'm going to welcome Lee to the show, or back to the show, I should say. Welcome back, Lee.
Thank you, Kelly. It's so good to be back. So good to talk with you already. And gosh, I'm one of those 100,000, Kelly. I'm going to go over there and sign up.
I
Let's
saw the
make a
look of
difference.
recognition. I saw the look of recognition on your face when I said that. You're like, I'm like, oh, I bet he's going to say that.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah, we didn't even talk
we
about
need
it in
some up
advance.
leveling. I think now is a timely time to up level again because the contrasting forces are very apparent, and
Yes,
consciousness needs to expand and rise. And energy is energy, and it's going to take one form and shape or another. And I think the momentum of people getting together with like-minded intentions can be extremely powerful.
absolutely. And I'm actually finding that's happening. What's interesting is that I'm hearing a lot of people talk about how they're like reaching out to people they haven't talked to in years and suddenly getting back in touch again. And there's like this impetus to do that right now. But I'm also finding that there's a massive impetus of light workers, spiritual teachers who are looking to connect with one another. Right.
Yeah.
Everybody I'm talking to is, yeah, we got to bring everybody together. We got to bring everybody together. And I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
it.
that's happening. Okay. So tell us a bit. So first off, introduce yourself again for those who either forgot or have not heard the previous episode.
Thank you, Kelly. Hello, I'm Lee Holden, and I'm a light worker. I've been in this world for, gosh, 35 years. I had a really interesting awakening. Speaking of, when I was like 15 years old, I was in high school and I was doing some visualization. My parents were into hypnosis, and I was listening to a guided imagery before going to bed. I was using my mind to help me basically with school and my soccer game. But what happened was I had this powerful surge of energy that rushed through my body and scared me, quite frankly. And I was like, what was that? And subsequently, every night I was like, I can't wait to go to sleep because I want to do that thing again. I didn't have the terminology of energy, spirit. I just was like, that felt good. That felt alive. That felt like something that was different than sitting in school and studying from books. And it just stayed with me until I got to college, when I was wandering around a spiritual bookstore called Shambhala Books on Telegraph Avenue in downtown Berkeley. That was way more fun than going to psychology class. And I actually learned how to make people feel better in that bookstore, better than my psychology classes as well. But I picked up a few books on Qigong, Chinese medicine, meridians, energy work, and was like, this is the thing that happened to me. So I walked out of that bookstore, and funny enough, funny, not funny, on the telephone pole as I went out was a poster by the author that he was going to be in town the very next day. So I was like, okay, I've just bought these books. I'm going to the workshop. And I didn't have enough money to attend. a poor college student as I was. So I went anyways, and I just said, "Hey, can I work off my tuition for this weekend?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure. I have a bookstore in the back room. You can sell the books for me." And that started a long relationship with this Taoist master from Thailand, who I became his ghostwriter. I did 12 trips to Thailand in my early 20s, always stopping off in China to study with other Qigong and Tai Chi healing arts masters. And I wrote 8 books for him in those few years. And it was like definitely a Mr. Miyagi type of relationship. I'd go to his house at 5 a.m. and we'd experiment with all these energy practices. And then I'd write them up into chapters. And yeah, it was just a really wonderful experience that was very different than my friends who graduated university and were in Silicon Valley. And a few
Right.
years after I was doing this work, they were all saying, "Hey, can you help me with my stress?" It was in the late 90s, so they were all making a lot of money in this dot-com boom. I
Mm.
was poor in dollars, but rich in energy. I was helping everybody out manage their stress and their pain and their discomforts of life. And that really just kicked off my career. I produced over the years maybe 25 different DVDs. You remember DVDs, right?
I do. I'm old enough. I remember tapes. I remember 8 tracks.
My kids are like,
Yeah.
"What are these, frisbees?" So those DVDs were featured on public television. So PBS stations all across the country were airing my shows and my programming, and that's how I was bringing qigong and energy work out more to the masses.
Okay, so I
Um,
have to ask you because Wayne Dyer is one of my faves, and he was always
ah,
on PBS, right?
oh
And so,
yeah,
how do you get your stuff on PBS? How does that work?
it is for me. It was another random event. And funny enough, Kelly, Wayne Dyer was on right before me. So I got to hang out with Wayne. And the producer at PBS, this was a San Diego show, she told me, if your show doesn't do well today, it's going to be the only show it'll ever see. And she said, "I'm sorry to say that you're on right after Wayne Dyer. So everybody's going to pledge Wayne's show. And I don't think anybody's going to pledge your show, especially with the name called Qigong, that nobody knows what that is and nobody knows who you are. So don't get your hopes up, kid." That's basically what she said. And I had to really do some inner mind work. I had to cancel out her programming and I just was like, "Hey, I need some guidance here. I want to bring this healing work out into the world in the best way possible." And we had a great show, great pledge drive. The interviewer was awesome, and she had been doing Tai Chi in the park with a master for a long time. So we had a great rapport. And my show outpledged Wayne Dyer's show that
Ah,
night.
I was gonna say I would have expected that your show would have done better because Wayne was on
I,
right before, and
I
everybody would have
think it
tuned in for
did.
him and then stayed, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know if you remember this, but sometime shortly thereafter, Wayne did a book on Taoism. He went through the Tao Te Ching and did a whole thing, and it was a PBS show on Taoism. Our two shows were very synergistic. And so my show, that was in 2006. And so I've had a show on PBS pretty much ever since. It fluctuates over the years, but I'm talking to them right now where we're doing a show called Your Fountain of Youth.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, and the other show was called Less Stress, More Energy through Qigong. So at the time, so the show pledges very well. What happens is that it gets put up onto a broadcast that any station across the country could air it. So it was like a little alert, and all the stations all of a sudden started to air my Qigong show. And the funny thing was that I didn't even have a website at the time
Oh
because it
my,
just happened so fast. If you
that's the
Googled
thing.
Lee Holden, you got my home phone number. That was it. So I was getting 50 phone calls a day.
Oh
I
my God.
saw your Qigong show on TV. Can it help with my shoulder pain? And I would talk to the person. Then, "Hey, can you talk to grandma? Hold on, let me get her." She'd be like, "Hello, I got digestive issues." I'm like, "Okay, try this." And I was just like on the phone all day long with people calling in and
That's
ordering
a high
DVD.
quality problem.
Oh yeah, it was so funny, and it was great to talk to people. It was airing in Texas, so they didn't call it Qigong; they called it Chagong. So I remember people go, "Hey, I saw your Qigong show on TV. Can help me with my back pain?" And I was like, "Absolutely!" And I was having all these great conversations with people in Texas on that first week that it aired.
That's
So
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
since then
hysterical.
I have teacher trainings. I have a subscription online. I teach people how to heal their bodies with movement and breath work and mindfulness and meditation and intention setting. And then lately I just released a new book, Kelly. It's called Ready, Set, Slow. It's taking Qigong
Everybody out there is
principles.
going, what?
I need that.
They're going, wait, no, I know it's supposed to go. I'm supposed to
I thought
go,
I was
but
supposed to
slow?
go fast. I got
What?
stuff to do.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so
Right.
part of the book is like, how do we go slow to go fast? How do we go slow to be efficient? How do we slow down to prioritize? So I don't know if you know this, but there's a slow revolution going on. And in my research phase, I was like finding all these books on slow productivity. There's a big movement in Europe called the slow food revolution. And really, I was thinking about this. People want more moments
Yes.
of peace, more moments of heightened energy, more moments of connection. And how do we do it? It's imperative to slow down. And it's not go slow all the times, it's just strategically slow down at various times of the day to power up your system to clear stress out of the body and mind, and then get
Yes.
really focused on what you want to create.
Yes. Absolutely. And this is all not new, right? It's
Right.
not. We've heard this for decades, right? Like,
Like, wait, drop into the
chop
present
wood,
moment? I've
carry
never heard
water.
that.
Chop wood, carry water. That was one of the seminal books that everybody went through, and The Artist's Way, and writing down your your pages, your daily
Yeah.
page, morning pages, and all of this stuff. We don't remember because we have 5-second brains, and we need to be
Exactly.
reminded that life is not a swipe, right? And
Life is not a
so,
swipe. Great.
yeah,
That's a great title for a book right there, Kelly.
I was gonna say I need to write that down. I definitely channeled that one.
That's
But I
great.
was like, oh, there's a social media post.
There's a chapter in the book called Bliss Over Busy. It has
Oh,
a similar feel to it.
yes. You know what's so interesting? I talk to my clients about this all the time when we go into busy. And when you talk about busy, there's like a sense of pride that my
Mm,
clients take in their busyness, right? They
absolutely.
identify with their busyness. And it's like busy makes you important, is the mindset. But,
Totally.
what I will tell you about the truth in the world is that important people are not busy because
Exactly.
what they do is they reserve their time. Their time is their most important asset. And
Yes.
they use all their money to buy back their time. And that is the busy people are the middle managers and down.
Mm.
And the I don't know what you say in your book about it, but that's what I say about it. So what do you say in your book
Oh,
about
yes, I was just writing that down because I loved it. There's there's a sentence in the book saying that we wear busy as a badge.
it? Mm,
So
yes,
we're like, hey,
exactly.
I'm busy, I'm important, just like you said. And busy really means frantic and stressed. Nobody
Yes.
wants to be frantic and stressed out. We don't wake up in the morning and go, I want to be stressed out, I want to be fatigued, I want to be anxious, and I want
I
to
want
be
to be
worried today. Yeah,
burnt out, overwhelmed.
but somehow we feel like what we're doing is necessary and it's going to get us to a finish line where then we're going to be able to relax. And what happens is we're habituated creatures. So if you don't learn it now, by the time you retire, you don't got it. Plus, by the time you retire, you're depleted of chi because you're burnt out. And it's a yin yang problem, Kelly.
Yes.
If we turn up the fire, you're going to burn the oil in the lamp. And
Yeah.
the oil in the lamp is your yin energy. It's your relaxation. It's your slow down. It's your rest. It's your recuperation. If you're not doing that, by the time retirement comes around, you have no more oil in the lamp. And you're like, how do I turn this fire on now that I've retired? Or at some point in your life when you really want that energy to do what you want to do, it's not there. And people are wired and tired all the time. And that's why they need these slow principles to integrate into their life. They need more chi. And chi
Yes.
simply means energy.
Yeah. So now I will tell you a story because
Okay.
when I was getting ready to go on walkabout, I took a month just off
Mm,
before I ended up taking a whole year off.
wow.
And during
Great.
that month, I would lay on the couch, and every 10 to 30 seconds I would go, I should be. And I shouldn't be doing anything. I had nothing to do. My only
Mm,
goal in life was to lay around and do nothing. And every 10 to 30 seconds, I was so habituated that it was like it took me a
mm,
whole month to stop
mm.
doing that. That's how ingrained it was.
Yes.
And it's the US culture, right? We
Yeah.
are indoctrinated to believe that our only value in existence is to be good producers and good consumers.
Hmm.
We are the product of a corporate environment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
And
that's it to recognize. And then I think that training for yourself, probably you recognized and saw the habituation. And I
yeah,
think we all feel that where we're like, I should be, in order to be value, I need to, and then just to drop back to the moment and relax into the moment. And part of Qigong, what I like to teach is how to respond to life with relaxation and flow rather than stress and tension.
oh, talk about
Respond to
that.
life. Yeah.
Talk
And
about
when,
that because my people need to hear that.
yeah, because when life is happening, happens whether you like it or not, or you're participating or not, is this happening? And how are you responding or reacting? All right. When we're reacting, it's going to be your neck and shoulders are going to tighten up, your breath is going to change. And when you catch yourself, like you were doing, Kelly, on the couch, I should be now what? And
Right.
when you catch yourself tightening up, future planning, thinking about all the things that we got to do, and it starts to turn into worries, that's a good time to slow down, take a breath. And when people say take a deep breath, why does that work? Because it resets your nervous system. When your nervous system is perceiving life as dangerous, you're going to be in a whole different internal energy space, a whole different mindset, a whole different emotion. Your reactions and how you respond to people and life will be very different than when you're relaxed and in flow. When you're in flow, it feels like life is working with you. You're going with the current. And when
Yeah.
you're out of flow and stressed out, it feels like you're swimming upstream and that life is working against you. And so that is a big shift because when you're in flow, you get a lot done because life conspires with you. And
Yes.
you feel like you have a teammate as opposed to, I got to do this all by myself. So flow state is key to productivity. Stress is the villain of productivity. It's gonna rob you of your productivity, and you're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff that you're like, wow, why did I do all that stuff? It didn't really get me to my desired destination.
Yes.
So I think that's really important for people to be efficient in flow. If you want to get in flow, essential to flow state is slowing down and increasing energy.
Yes. I thoroughly agree with that statement. The thing that happens, and so this is the thing, is that to remind yourself that everything happens for you, not to you. And when
Mhm.
you see it as happening for you, then even when it looks like it's a problem or something bad, you go, okay, this is happening for me. So why? So if you're running into walls, maybe you're going to go looking for what the problem is, and then you're going to find something that you wouldn't have found otherwise, and you're going to clear out something that's needed clearing out for decades or whatever, right? Like this happened to me recently where I had a slowdown in my business, and I was like, I don't know why. I don't know why. It should be working. The energy is open. What's going on? I don't understand. And I went digging and digging, and what I found was all of these 20 years of backlog of stuff that was stuck in the framework of my business. And I was like, "Oh, you remember that 10 years where I struggled financially?" And all of those belief structures that get put in place with I can't do this and nobody can help me and I think I'll eat some worms.
Right.
And I was like, all that shit's still sitting in your business. And it was so clogged up that I went to try and move it. I'm like, this is going to take me hours to do.
Mm,
And so
mm.
I called in my team and I was like, hey guys, can you just deal with this for me? Because I don't have hours to do this. I don't want to spend hours doing this. But that's what your spirit guides are there for, is they
Mhm.
go in and they clean it up, and they did. And I'm like, and there's so much energy now in my business.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's amazing. And you and I were talking before we got on the call today that I had done two days in a row of one 11-hour day, one 12-hour day. And I'm
Yeah.
realizing as I'm saying this, that's why, is
Mm.
because all that energy was available in my business. And I was just like riding the high, and got to the end of the day and still had a ton of energy left. And I'm like, I'm on the third day now, and my dog woke me up at 3 o'clock this morning and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I am actually tired today, but that is not because of the business. That's because of my dog. But I would not have found that if I hadn't had that slowdown,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have gone looking for it. Why bother?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's so many opportunities in our moments.
Yeah.
And like when you slow down, what's the opportunity? I have a little ritual that integrates into many different things in life. So there's lots of rituals in the slow book that will help you to have a moment. They don't take a long time, even though you're slowing down. If everybody took a 5-second inhale right now, all of a sudden we just had a moment together. And if you do that strategically throughout the day, these slow moments increase energy, let go of stress, they give us clarity, and all of a sudden we're realigned with spirit, with our energy, with our purpose. And we can feel that sense of guidance flowing through us. So I do a slow over coffee or tea. You take your morning teacup, you take a deep breath, you set an intention, you take a sip, you've had a slow moment over your meals. Through centuries, we've said a grace or a prayer over a meal. You just slow down, and the first bite of your meal, you chew it. You actually chew it slower because digestion happens in your mouth. So if you're eating slower, you're going to get more energy out of your food.
Yes.
Everybody wants more energy. One simple way is to chew more and not eat so fast, because all of a sudden, if your food hits your stomach, now your stomach has to process it. It takes a lot more energy in your organs to digest if you're not eating slowly. There's many things. Slow breathing is going to be a cornerstone of more energy and better health. If you the research is out, fast breathing is like overeating. Over breathing is not good for you. So when we breathe slowly, you're going to get a lot more energy. I don't know if you know this, but this is the counterintuitive thing about slowness. When you breathe slowly, you're not taking in as much oxygen. So what does your body say? Your body says, "Oh, the oxygen that's now held in my blood, attached to the hemoglobin, when carbon dioxide builds up, those oxygen molecules release. Now that oxygen is available. If you're over breathing, your body stores it. Just if you overeat, your body stores it for a later time, and we get overweight. So breathing slow can really increase energy. It helps metabolic action. And there's all kinds of science behind these ancient principles, which is what I really love and I bring in through the book. So we go into slow breathing, slow movement, slow exercise, slow relationships. How do we connect to our partners? When we slow down, energy builds up. And when we're connecting to our partners, we want that energy building up, that pleasurable energy. How do we cultivate it? How do we alchemize it? And many different techniques around that.
So say something about slow exercise. Are we talking Qigong, or are we talking yoga, or?
Absolutely. Qigong, I think of Qigong as the sunset of exercise because it just gives you that feeling. And sunsets are the time when it's not day, it's not night. So yin and yang are in balance. Qigong is like that because you're moving and you're exercising, but you're moving with relaxation and flow. So you're moving slowly and you're getting a great workout, but it's this energetic workout. It's not like I'm at the gym or I'm going for a run. I think Qigong is probably for me the best feel good workout there is, because at the end of a Qigong practice, you're just like, I feel amazing. So it's a great way to integrate if you do other exercises. But I think when you're doing these slow, relaxed movements, energy pours into your system. And that's
Yeah.
why it's a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, I was talking to a client yesterday, and we were talking about the idea of I can't lose weight, I can't change my diet, and I'm like, you're looking at this as work, and
Hmm.
so you're saying this is going to take more work, but you're still preparing the same meals, and you're still doing the same thing. She's
Mm.
an active person, and it was like, but you're just going to change what things you're doing. And I said, I get up and I stretch every morning, and she's
Hmm.
like, oh, I hate my stretches, and I'm like, why would you hate your stretches? I said, they feel amazing. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
if you're stiff in the morning, they hurt in the beginning because you're like, oh, and then you're like, okay, the thing that hurts, I'm aware I need to release. Okay, here we go. And I'm breathing, I'm releasing it, I'm breathing. It takes you into your body in a really
Right.
solid way. And I'm like, and then you're breathing, and that's so good for you. And then when you get into the point where your body's actually releasing to do the stretch, it feels amazing. And I'm like, why would you? She's like, oh, it's just I'm like, okay, I want you to reestablish your relationship with that, because
Yeah.
that alone will do a huge amount for you. And what I find with a lot of my clients is that they end up in the early stages or late stages of adrenal fatigue
Yeah.
because
Right.
they're constantly in this stress adrenaline push. And that eventually you will end up on the ground and there is no getting up. You're just
Uh-huh.
like, you're down.
Yeah.
So this
Exactly.
is so important, but I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, it's going to be a bizarre question. So we're going to see which
Beautiful.
your
I
answer
love
is.
it.
But what I've been experiencing and what I've been talking to a lot of people about, and they're all telling me, yeah, this has been happening for about the last month, is that what's happening is that we're wide awake, we're wide awake, we're wide awake, and then we're falling down tired, must go to sleep now. And it's just bang. There's no transition. There's no nothing. Suddenly, from one breath to the next, you're wide awake and great. And then you must sleep. It is either you lay
Exhausted.
down or you fall down,
Yeah.
right? And you go lay down, and 10, 15 minutes later, you're fine.
Uh-huh.
And this is happening to a lot of people, especially in the spiritual world right now. Have
Mm.
you been having that experience?
Not me personally, but I've been hearing about it. And I've been
Okay.
hearing people talk about it. We can address it from, let's say, like a Chinese medicine energetic diagnosis. And sometimes what happens is we are using all our chi, and all of a sudden our chi is okay. We just ran out of gas. Like when you're driving your
This isn't
car,
that.
okay,
This isn't that because I have an energetic circuit breaker set on my energy field to stop me from doing that. And
okay,
so
okay,
my energetic circuit breaker is not going off. So I
okay.
know what that is. And that goes from I'm awake to I'm really tired, but not
Yeah.
I'm about to fall down, right? This is a
Ah,
whole nother layer. This is not a chi thing where I'm out of chi because when I wake up again, I've got plenty of energy to keep
right. You
going.
just
Within
have
10 or
just
15
10 or
minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
I
This
think
is
it's
not a chi thing.
probably,
Yeah.
hey, slow down, tune in, connect to source. We got something to tell you, and you're too busy for us to talk to you. So like,
Maybe.
stop, like
But I'm not
connect.
conscious during that time. I'm asleep. So
Yes.
and I'm out cold for
Yep.
10 or 15 minutes.
Interesting.
And and I'm not usually hard to reach. My guys are just like, ahem. And I'm like, what? We have a constant conversation. I have been feeling like it might be download related. Like we're getting
That's what I'm
downloads
saying.
and,
Yeah. Yeah.
restructuring. I feel like it's less download and more restructuring
Eh,
because a
yeah.
download is pretty easy to do while you're sleeping. And so it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessary to drag you into the bed in the middle of the day. But if you're in the process of being restructured, then there are stages that you'll hit
Yep.
where you do need
Especially
to
when
have
you're
that
so
happen.
refreshed afterwards, when you're
Right.
like, "Oh, that was great. Download
Yeah.
complete. I got the subconscious mind and is really interesting because it needs that integration and the processing. Even if you're getting lots of new ideas and you're working on all kinds of the integration happens so much better when we quiet our conscious mind.
Yeah.
So either like a silent meditation or like a little recharge nap, integration happens because the organizing power in your subconscious mind is infinitely more vast than your conscious mind, right?
Yes.
So when you turn off the conscious mind, it can organize way better. I have a 4-year-old, and if she takes a nap, I can organize her stuff really easy. If I have her help me, no way, it's going to be a big
Right.
mess. Our conscious mind's a little bit like that. You got to, okay, we're going to shut you down, and then we're going to just, here's where everything needs to go. Now back online. Okay, we're reorganized. Now we can move through the day more efficiently and on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. So give us one more tenet from your book.
Great. So we did slow breathing. What we could do is a slow movement. Why don't we do that, Kelly? And you could do this one, guys, in your chair because Kelly was talking about stretching. This one's called spinal cord breathing. And you put your hands by your shoulders. No, folks, don't do this when you're driving. Save it for when you get home. You could do it standing or seated, but if you've been sitting a long time, Kelly and I sit and work a lot on our desks. You're going to want to take a little chi break. And this is a great chi break because the spine needs to move and it needs to move in all of its various directions. So let's spinal cord breathe and pump some spinal fluid through our joints. You're going to inhale and look up, big, slow, deep breath. And then you're going to round your back, chin to your chest, your elbows almost touch, chin to the chest, and tuck your tailbone under. and move all the joints the other way. Then inhale, look up, and exhale and round your back. Squeeze your buttocks even if you're sitting in the chair. And inhale, look up. Exhale and round elbows towards each other. Tailbone tucks under, squeeze the buttocks. And this will pump your cranial sacral system. So when you round the back, you're squeezing the glutes, activate the sacral pump. And you look up, take a deep breath, activate the cranial pump. And then relax. And then we have had a little adjustment in our spines. And now we're going to go back to work more energized with less tension in our bodies. And tension will sap your energy because holding tension in your body is like squeezing your muscles without thinking about it. All of a sudden, we're tired.
Yeah. And I am breathing easier right now. I can
Yes.
feel that. I'm breathing more clearly and I can feel my energy has opened up. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Little
So
30-second chi break can do
that didn't
wonders.
suck. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't suck.
Awesome. Well, so how do people get a copy of your book, Lee?
Anywhere you want to get a book, where you like to shop for books, it'll be there. Ready, set, slow. Amazon. Sounds True was the producer, so you could go to
Okay.
soundstrue.com. That's always there. And then on my website, you can get all kinds of Qigong stuff for your upper back pain, your low back pain, your high blood pressure, digestion, all the things. It's holdenqigong.com. And Qigong is spelled Qigong, holdenqigong.com.
Awesome. Thank you for coming back again. This has been amazing. As per usual, we'll have to have you come back another time and
Would
talk some
love
more
that.
because I just have too much fun with you. So why would we not?
I
Right?
got more fun exercises to show.
That
I
would
got
be
some
great.
silly ones too, so I'm gonna have
I
to come
love the
back and
silly
show you some
ones.
silly ones.
I do
Yeah,
love the silly
they
ones.
do feel
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. All right. That's what we have for this week. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, what you focus on is what you, yeah, I can talk. What you focus on is what expands. What you intend is what you create. So choose wisely. Have a great one, guys.